Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is NearFear, and today we're going to be doing another Project Cars live career, and this time we're going to be in the SuperKarts. Now, we left off with SuperKarts last time, but I don't think we made it too far into the Nationals in the last round. We got it to round 2, and we didn't do much qualifying because it was pretty straightforward, but I believe this time around we should be able to finish the supercarts and hopefully get in the Formula Rookies and then the Formula Golfs and maybe make up some stuff there. So I'm going to get rid of the shroud you are all watching right about now, and I'm going to see whether or not I can get HUD Dash to work, because it hasn't been working so far and I don't exactly know why. Now HUD Dash just stopped working again. Right. So let's see what we can do in the second round of qualifying for the supercarts. Now, a heads up, just in case you were unaware, there is a bit of an unfair advantage between the human player and the AI in terms of supercarts, in the sense that they don't exactly follow the engine RPM of certain things. So it seems as if like, I'll give an example now. Now there's two ways you can drive the supercart. You can drive it to the rev limiter, or you can short shift like I'm doing right here. Now the advantage of short shifting for the most part is that the supercart itself still stays within the optimum RPM range, but you're getting more torque out of the rear wheels. So it's kind of like a little bit of its own super boost, which the AI tend not to carry into corners. And we are running a lighter cart, so that also makes us quicker than the AI. It's a bit challenging to drive this cart with the max fuel load in general. Like if I filled the tank all the way up, it would be quite a bit difficult to drive the car. But the AI tend to run race fuel or close to race fuel. Sometimes it's not close exactly, but it's slightly less than full fuel on board. Sometimes it's they run the fuel to the limit and they're almost completely empty, and sometimes you'll see them either run out on their runs, or I think in the Lotus they were running 6 bar of wastegate pressure and the engines would just die in the middle of qualifying, so they'd be stranded on the grid. So you really want to watch out for that in these Project Cars AI races, because they aren't exactly programmed to be clever. And these supercarts can get a little bit of a handful every once in a while, as we've gone off into the gravel trap. Now, I doubt we'll really need to go much faster than this for the race, seeing as the AI aren't that quick when you're running less fuel in the supercarts. But I just want to see if I need to tweak the handling by anything. So the Superkart Championships should be quite easy for you guys if you have a wheel. Not exactly sure how this would work on a controller, seeing how twitchy this car can be under power, but hopefully it's not too difficult for you guys if you got the right settings in the menus. Okay. Can't change the brake bias yet. Just filling out the SuperKarts again. It seems like I got some understeer on the brakes. I think I might have put that in by default, just so that I wouldn't kill myself in this kart. Which leads me to another quick tip. If you're having understeer under braking, attempt to see if you can trail some of the brake in. And for those who are unaware, who aren't completely sure what I'm trying to get at here, think of your brake pedal as a giant... what is the right word for this? Think of your brake pedal as a lever that doesn't exactly have a lock on it. And you can pull the lever all the way down. You can kind of pull it slightly and leave it in the middle. You can pull it a quarter way. There are a bunch of different options you can use with that lever. What you want to do is you want to, when you're in a straight line, you want to put the most amount of force on the lever, but as you're trying to turn, you want to smoothly decrease it to about 30 to 20 and then 0% as you're getting to the apex of the corner. When you get to the apex of the corner, typically you want to be off of the brake completely, but you can 9 times out of 10 trail a little bit of brake in on, I think, most circuits. Is it the right way to go for every circuit? Not exactly. You're gonna have to find which one's faster on every single corner of every single track. However, it can help you in situations where your brake bias is a little bit strange. You can trail a little bit of the front brake in, and that can keep some weight on the nose of the car, which will give you a little bit of grip going into the corner. Not used to the AI going so slowly. To be honest, I'm not used to anyone going slowly in front of me, but things happen. Okay, let's see what we can do. We got 0.8 liters. You've only got 5 laps in the car. Our average fuel use is about 0.4 liters. Alright. But typically, if you want to beat the AI in qualifying, you typically want to run less fuel and see if you can set a time then, because sometimes they do actually have a lighter car than you do, and it is quite difficult to try and beat someone in qualifying when they've just got the advantage under top speed. From my observation, it seems like the fuel weight only affects the acceleration out of corners. But then again, I'm no super expert. It's gotten to the 1 minute laps. You can set, I believe, a 59 or 58 second lap. I think I've gotten relatively close to the 58 second laps, but for now, 1 minute will definitely do for the qualifying session, as we are about 4 seconds ahead of the next car with 1 minute remaining. So here are the settings for the tires and brakes. You've got 2 rear downforce, so in traffic it might be a little bit of a pain, but we are definitely faster on the straights. We've changed the weight bias, I believe. This might be stock weight bias, I'm not sure, but we have the steering ratio of 8.81. You do have to exit the session if you're doing anything with steering ratio for a race, unless you're able to change the settings before you get in, which I'll show you when we go into the next race. Here are the camber and caster angles and the toe-in angle. Here is a sway bar angle, and I think this is mostly because I'm running less downforce, so I tried to make it a little bit more stable. There's the bump stops, which I don't think you get any bump stops on a kart anyway, because it doesn't really have much of a suspension. And here are the gear ratios and the fuel load. So this might be a little interesting for the race, running full fuel. We're going to try that out. Let's see what we can do. Because we're definitely faster with less gas in the car. Let's see how it goes with more gas in the car. As we look at the scoreboards, we are 4 seconds ahead. For those of you watching, welcome to the stream. I do this about as often as I can. Hopefully we can get to about twice or maybe even 3 or 4 times a week. But I make videos just for the hell of it. And if you guys are interested in the content or you like what you see, please leave some comments and subscribe. And yes, Cooper, I'm not going to crash. Thank you. Hopefully I don't crash with this going on. I don't even know, man. We could have some battles after I spin out like I did last night, man. That was devastating. Spun out. Actually, for those of you watching right now who actually watch the other series I do on Project Cars with the discussion videos, I can actually summarize that right now. And discussion video will be a bit more in depth, but we can just go ahead in it. First race was a at least for me, it was an absolute catastrophe. Rip won the first and the second race. I believe Bullet and Big O actually stepped it up in qualifying, but I happened to beat them in qualifying the second time around, which is strange. I ended up coming in second, about 5 tenths behind, so I thought it was going to be a race. And then we went to the first corner, and Bullet got a better start, which was expected because I got a lot of wheel spin. The HUD dash wasn't working, so I didn't have the RPMs. And the car was in front of me, and I tried to keep from running him over, and in between that and fiddling with the pedals, I spun out, similar to the way I did in the rain 2 years ago. It was the exact same spin. I rejoined track in last, went and fought my way up to I think 6th or 4th until I got pushed out wide by Static Energy, which I can't even save the replay to watch that. I can only look at the video. I either pushed out wide or I got squeezed, or I squeezed him a little too hard, which I don't think I did because I was in the middle of the corner. So I don't really know how that happened. But anyway, got pushed off the track, then spun out, then had to try and regain position again, in which I was behind Evil Monkey trying to drive behind him, and I lost concentration for a split second and spun it again, which put me back down the order. And then I had to drive from there to finish 7th. So after qualifying second, I went all the way down to last, I think about twice or 3 times, and then got back to 7th. Which was strange. It was by far the most strange race ever. I don't even know what to even call that. But I didn't run anyone over, and I think that's probably the most important part. I didn't actually run anyone over and ruin the race, which I guess in itself is a victory, considering how many problems I ended up having. But yeah. Oh, son of a gun. Okay. Well, I'm sorry guys that I don't have game sound on stream. I'm going to go leave the track and rejoin because I've got 9 seconds. Come on. You can do it, Mr. Cart. Okay, so let's see if I can do the Shroud of Doom while I figure this out. The Shroud of Doom. What is going on with this? Oh! Great. It disabled my audio device again. That is very nice. Okay. I apologize, guys. That was a mistake. I will, I'll reset the stream really quickly and see if it picks it up. So we're going to start off with the same part, but when I set the desktop audio device, it didn't save. So you guys got a bunch of nothing while I thought everything was running smoothly. So I will be back momentarily. Just refresh the stream and it should be up. But thank you guys for watching so far, and I'll see you in just a bit.
Okay, I'll spot. Okay, no more spotter calls. Understood, I'll give those calls. Okay, no spot calls. Okay, I'll spot. Okay, no spot calls. Okay, I'll spot. Okay, no spot calls.
I shall now remove the Shroud of Doom, because shrouds are fun. Okay, so we are back in the Donington National Race 1. Welcome everybody who may be new to the stream or got very confused with what happened. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this race and we'll see what we can do after that. Yes, my crew chief was freaking out, I understand. Yeah, he kind of does that every time I hit the hold button. I really need to rebind that, but it's quite difficult to figure out which key on my peripherals is an Alt-Shift, or I think it's Alt-Shift and Escape that are binded there, and I'm not exactly sure which one it is, so I'll do that experiment a little bit later. But so far we are 2 seconds ahead because I spun into the sand trying to figure out the best place to park. Ended up being in the sandbox. So maybe if I'd actually had the stream audio on, it would have made more sense to check it that way, but I don't like feedback into the microphone. So I had an awful race. It seems like Rip had two fantastic races. Bullet didn't have much of a race. I ended up passing him at the end. I think he had either a fuel issue or a tire issue, and it seemed like everyone else, it was a box standard race. No Nut really wasn't there because he was, I believe he was at a NASCAR sprint. I don't think it was a NASCAR sprint race. I think it was just the standard NASCAR oval. He was in a hotel with his father for that, and I guess Static had a decent run after the first lap incidents, and forget who Static was battling with after that. But when I get the results, I think I'll be able to explain everything a little better. But it just wasn't a good race on a track that I really didn't like, but I happened to be very quick in Sector 1 and the end of Sector 2. So yeah, that was a really, really odd set of races. But we're going to go on into the next round of SuperKarts, which is race 2 of the same round. I apologize. Like in a different world right now, man. But gonna go on to see what we can do in this SuperKart, which is definitely faster than the AI because I don't know what they're doing. I think this might be a bit harder when you have more downforce on the cart itself, as I get overtaken by John fake name, because I cannot really pronounce that. Like, what? And okay, I can see why I'm faster now. Apparently they don't take any speed into that corner or this one either. Wow. Nice. I can see why people find it hard to race these guys like people, mainly because they have instances like that where they just drop a bunch of speed and you're just really caught out by it. And half the time it's either you run them over or run yourself off, which is a little strange, but we're coming on to the second lap in first position, which is always good.
3 seconds.
But this section of karts is going to be easy, so we're going to be able to fly through this. Formula Rookie is also easy, but takes a little bit more effort not to kill yourself in the car because you don't have any downforce, which is confusing why this didn't come after the Formula Rookie, but nevertheless, still happens. And other than that, I'm not completely sure what comments I have on this track. It's a beautiful circuit, but this braking zone, at least in the standard version, will destroy your brakes. When you go to the GP circuit, it's just extremely hard on the brakes. Now I know in SuperKarts this isn't really much of a problem because this is the I'm not sure, I think this might be the national layout.
The gap behind is now 7.7 seconds.
Thank you, crew chief. It's not that much of a problem because I think for me personally it's very hard to heat up SuperKart brakes. But especially in the Formula A at least, the brakes do get quite hot. And you can have brake failures, which I did explain a while back when we had the round 8 in the championship. I think we had 4 cars DNF or something ridiculous like that, just due to the brakes alone. Because I believe over the whole race distance, if you're not easy on the brakes and you don't have your pit crew to set to fix the brakes, they kind of freak out. But
The gap to
it's
behind is now 10.1 seconds.
it's a bit of a interesting way to run if you run without brake duct for certain races without a brake heavy. I mean brake repair, I'm sorry. Even though in the actual, I know in real Formula races or mostly any race, you're not really going to fix the brakes in like 5 seconds, as I put myself off in one of the fastest corners. You're not gonna fix the brakes in 1 second. I don't think you're really gonna fix much of anything in the time of, well, you'll fix things in the pit stop, but if it's anything like related to the brakes or something like steering or something, it's probably not going to be completely fixed in a pit stop exactly before you end up laps down. But
So yeah, behind is now 9.5 seconds.
I know in the Formula races, if there's anything wrong with the car, since it's a sprint race, they essentially just retire the car to save the engine. I know in the endurance races, they take a lot more time to try and get the car back out because caution could come out, people could go a lap down, people could crash, and having that position sometimes in the race just to be there when things go wrong is better than not scoring any points at all. So it is a little bit strange that it takes like a second to fix your brakes in a pit stop. But it's also strange that the pit stops in this game seem to have such a strange kind of side consequence with them. It's just like, oh, I remember quite a few races where it'll be like, not exactly in the Formula A Championship, but when I was doing career mode, there were a few races where it's just like, yeah, your battery's gone, we need to fix it. And in those moments, I was very confused because it was like, the car has an alternator. I don't know why you're fixing my battery right now. There is almost no point in you fixing my battery, especially in the McLaren F1. When I had that race, the first race of the season, I literally lost like 5 positions because they're just like, yeah, your battery's dead, we need to fix it. And this is like, what does my battery have to do with the engine? Nothing. It was just like one of those things where it was unnecessary. So I hope that they do end up patching that quite soon. But that is it for the second round of the Nationals, which is pretty straightforward. The goal is just to carry some momentum into the corners. You'll beat them. AI aren't too difficult on this track specifically. We're going to go on to the next track, which if we take a look here, we're going to skip the inbox for a moment. We're going to Snetterton, which is just a difficult track, in my opinion. There's like 1 or 2 braking zones that just, they're just difficult. So we've got an invitation from Arrow Bull from the Brands Hatch Showdown. We have Dubai Kart Masters Cup, which I hate Dubai, so I'm not doing that. I mean, the kart track is good, but I'm not for it. But for those new to the stream watching, welcome. We are going to be doing SuperKarts and going to Formula Rookie. I'm going to see if I can cover all of it in one video, but we might run a little out of time as I am trying to get a few things in order. It is currently 9. I believe we started the stream not too long ago, probably about 10-20 minutes ago, after all of the issues got sorted out. So we're probably going to go until about 9:30, 9:45, and we're going to end it there and probably start a new chapter just for anyone watching after the fact. Kind of has a little bit of a buffer room for the episodes, as you will. But we're going to go to the SuperKart Nationals in the kart that we weren't able to pick. So, history with myself and Snetterton 200. It's fun, but very easy to spin it under braking for the last corner. And very easy to spin it under acceleration in, I believe, the 3rd corner. If I'm not mistaken, the 3rd or 4th corner. And I should be able to show you this momentarily, as a lot of these setups for these races have been already set, because I have done quite a lot. Oh, and that's what I get for trying that with cold tires. But now you're going to see what I mean. Nice. But You'll now see what I mean. Oh, no. I forgot. Under braking for this corner as well, you'll end up like him half the time when you're actually pushing the envelope similar to how the AI do it. They seem to carry a ton of speed in, but they don't have a decent amount of speed out of the corner. Whereas if you try the same thing with this much gas on board, I think even with the lighter load, it's very difficult to nail. So hats off to devs for that one. However, that kind of gets offset by the fact that the AI run you over into that corner. It's quite annoying. So I think really what people want from the Project Cars AI is just for the AI not to run them over and for the race not to be ruined every 5 seconds because the algorithm dictates that the AI should dive bomb them. I mean, I think I think Jackman, he's covered this brilliantly. He was just like, if you did half the stuff that the AI do in these games in real life, you'd lose your license. That is absolutely true. Because the penalty for running people over consistently, unless you're a pastor and a billionaire, is losing your license. Or just not having to drive the following year. Or even the following race sometimes. They'll just replace you with a different driver. So, it's kind of, in my mind, it's kind of ridiculous how you get onto a bunch of different races for that was just awful. You get on a bunch of different races against these AI, and you'll have one race that's how it should be, and you'll have like 15 races where you're just getting run over. So we're currently first in the practice session, which doesn't completely make sense. I believe you can take this corner in 5th gear. I'm just choosing not to because that was a nice catch, but that shouldn't have happened in the first place. I made a mistake. You usually don't want to be that close to the apex because that bump there and this cart doesn't really have much of a suspense. I believe that could have been my fault. I'm just going to take a replay of that. And hopefully eventually they'll redo this replay system. Because I've been having issues all practice session. It'd be unfair to kind of blame the AI right after that happened. So we're going to go 18-second mark. I'm going to see what exactly happened, hopefully. Got in the slipstream, went alongside him. And I couldn't even see that. So we're in the slipstream. And go alongside him, hit the brakes, and he turns into the corner and hits the back of our cart. So I did go a little deep, but that's strange. That's all I can really say. That's just a strange incident. But tuning wise for this track, you just want to see if you can get some tiny bit of understeer from the front. This car isn't completely balanced properly, so this isn't an extremely good barometer. The rear should be a little bit more neutral, But I'm probably going to opt to do that with my feet this race. Try and see if I can control it. Might take a little bit more concentration than I'm used to, but I might be up for it. The rear end's just a little bit too unstable, but it is what it is. For the most part, I'm just trying to do impossible things with colder tires. Driving a little bit too hard. Really difficult for me to get the cart through that corner without almost clipping that bump that upsets the cart so much. Keep in mind the main reason this cart has less settings is because I don't believe it has a limited slip differential. It's only an open diff, and as well I believe that this cart actually, the cart itself doesn't really have a suspension, which is expected because it's a cart. Carts generally don't have suspensions on them. Some of them do, and I've seen that in quite a few videos, but I don't believe these SuperKarts in this game do. They might have suspension in real life. I haven't researched too much into that, but in this game, both the shifter carts and the SuperKarts do not have really much of a suspension, so there aren't many settings for you to be able to change. And third gear through there seems to create a bunch of understeer. Why understeer have you forsaken me? That's just a difficult corner to get right. If you screw up the entry, you're just not getting out on the exit, or you're just going off completely. I believe I've set up the brakes on this just so that I could, I wouldn't spin myself out under braking, because I believe that's what was happening earlier. I believe what ended up happening was under the brakes, I was just trying to get the car stopped because I drove it in too deep, and as I was trying to slow it down more, I'd lock up the rears. So this setup might be a bit understeery on the brakes. I'm not sure if I can make the rear end more stable without sacrificing the turn. Mid-corner. That was just an attempt to see if I could get the car in using a different method. We're 3 seconds ahead, but we're just gonna try and see if we can adjust the rear roll bar and see what happens. Just ran into the wall. Alright. The confoolery. I just enjoy driving like an idiot with cold tires. It just gets all the giggles out of the way. that might be the only way we're getting through that corner. What it could be, though, is I think it might not have anything to do. As I'm looking at it, doesn't seem as if it really has anything to do with the roll bars. I think it might just have something to do with the rear tire pressures, so we're just gonna decrease them again and see what we get. I'm gonna hit 94. Pray we don't overheat them too much. We can't afford to overheat them a little. But we're going to go with the same roll bar settings that we had when we first went out. It just feels like we don't have any rear grip, and we do have downforce on the rear end, so it shouldn't exactly be that. I think it might have more to do with the tire pressures, but I've been wrong before. Whoa! Okay, that's made it worse. Maybe the rear tires just need to be colder. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Okay, not much. With the, yeah, that wasn't a good idea. Let's see if, it looks like giving them more grip wasn't the best idea in the world. Giving the rears more grip wasn't the best idea in the world. Now we're just going to carry some of that on into qualifying and see what can happen with more inflated tires in the front, in the rear. Will we lose grip? That is the question this evening. And the answer, yes. Okay, that's just cold tires. So let's warm them up first, do a lap, then deflate them, do a lap, and see what the issue is. Because I have a feeling it might have something to do with the tire pressures. Oh, another heads up, just like the Formula A, these SuperKarts have like a deadly second gear. Now in the Formula A, this is kind of like adjustable, as I've gone off the circuit again. In Formula A, this is kind of adjustable. But in the SuperKarts, it's not so much. So it's all a factor of making sure that you it's all a factor of making sure that you get the right balance in the cart. And not shifting down too quickly, because you could lose it. It's kind of difficult at the present moment to keep the car on the track, because all it wants to do is understeer into braking. But we should be able to manage. Oof! Okay. That didn't work out as planned. So I tried to see if I can get all the downshifting done before entering the corner. And I was greeted with a whole heap of oversteer on the exit. So I think what it is that the engine braking on these carts might be very, very, very strong right now. And it could just be that downshifting a little slower might overload the rears a bit. And a cart freaks out when you get back on the power. So it could just be we're still traveling sideways as well. We try to get back on the throttle. And it just throws the tires for a loop. A lot of people crashing into that corner. So there might be an invisible barrier there that people might be running into. And as I lose it again going into that corner. Very difficult track to get right consistently without going slow. Because I could get this right every time, but I'm just trying to see how fast I can push this cart, and I just seem to be making a bunch of mistakes in the process. That's a little bit jerky. Alright. Didn't get a lot of speed at coming out of that corner, but we did in fact make it. That felt a little slow, so we might want to carry a little bit more speed and brake a little bit later. We're going to try and get into 50 seconds. So as the tires warmed up, we've gotten a lot more control back. And it seems like we might still have 7 times tire wear on. Which means after this session I might have to leave the race to reset the tire wear. Well, not leave the race, but just not start the race. Because I think it might be affecting the AI and when they choose to pit, as well as when they set their best laps, because they should be setting 102s. And as I go look at the screen, they're setting 105s. So we're going to exit the session. Actually, we're going to skip to the end of the session. And we are going to try and see if we can fix some of this. Because they should not be, if we can go into gameplay, they should not be running out of tires or anything. As you see, we're not running anything, we're just allowing them all so I can check no on all of them. So we're gonna go back should save. And this should make this race a little bit more interesting. We're only doing about 4 laps in these lower series, these lower tiers, just to see if we can get power through them. There are going to be some races later on that we'll participate in. I'm gonna go with... I've decided to go with a lower tire pressure and see if it gives me grip on the exits, because we weren't really able to test that. These are the settings I'm currently running. As you can see, I'm coming really close to brake balance in the middle. You've got rear downforce 3, weight bias at 53.5. Got all of these settings over here, and these are sway bar settings at the moment, and we might change it in between races. This is the gear ratio, which I can show you that there's not really much to adjust there. And these are all of the fuel loads I'm running. This is the brake mapping, if you wanted to know that. And we'll get right on to the race!
Get ready.
Gonna be using a clutch for a supercart.
Green, green, green.
Alright. That was close. Alright, so we are currently 3 seconds ahead, and it looks like there's going to be
The gap behind is now 4 seconds.
a pretty easy win. That's my Shia LaBeouf notification for you guys. Now we're currently in the lead by 6 seconds. And still making mistakes.
The gap to Richardson behind is now 8.4 seconds.
And it looks like we're gonna win this by a landslide, which is a little unexpected. Having to fight this cart just a little bit. Seems a little bit twitchy. Snapping at me like a turtle. That is not how you exit a corner. Oh man, that is definitely not how you exit a corner. Set a 101. Not too good, but
The gap to Richardson behind is now 12.6 seconds.
A little slow. Didn't set that corner up properly. I think we've gotten a 101 flat. Yep, that's a 101.83. 101.083. And apparently that was the pace of the field, which is a little bit surprising. But won by a landslide. We've gotten 5 wins so far in the championship. We can kind of just breeze through the rest of it. We're just going to see if we can drop this by 2, if it'll fix anything.
Be ready.
Since we start with good tires, it should help us out quite a bit.
Green, green, green.
All right. Let's just looking good so far. Not as many issues with the rear end. Okay, let's see if we can get. Oh! Well, I spoke too soon. I thought I could try and get away with that trick that I pulled at the end of the race again, but it didn't quite work.
The actor Richardson behind is now 1.7 seconds.
Let's see. Now, if I had a look back button, I could show you guys the amount of smoke coming off of the tires for this supercart when you shift at the end of the shift lights, because looking at my HUD dash app, it seems to tell me that it kind of revs out just before you get to the 4 lights, as I completely screwed myself over again. You can just screw around with this cart and still be going relatively fast compared to the AI. I spun out and still got a 105, whereas the AI are powering through the circuit and consistently getting 105s and 104s, which I find quite interesting. As we are 3 seconds ahead on the 3rd lap. Probably be more if I didn't screw up so much, but the commentary must go on. So I'm not completely sure what exactly to change on this cart other than to drive a little bit cleaner. This cart takes a little bit more brain power to drive than you'd think. Well, than I think, typically. Because I'm used to just...
Richardson behind is now 6.8 seconds.
I'm kind of used to just going on to autopilot for videos like this in a sense, but I kind of do have to stay on top of the car as well, so it's a little bit complicated, especially in a kart like this that kind of snaps every third gear or second gear. I'll shift down twice, and then on the third shift it usually either snaps or it doesn't.
Gap to Richardson behind is now 11.8 seconds.
Alright. So, let's see what we can do. And we've screwed up that corner yet again. I'm just really bad through that final corner. Just not doing too well.
The gap to Richardson behind is now 10.5 seconds.
Picking up a lot of understeer on the exit. So I might want to try going third gear the next time around if we ever have to do Snetterton 200. We're going to come around in first place by about 10 seconds. So, not too much of a race. We've got 6 wins for the season. We've won by way more than double the points. And we should get into the championship season. Just checking a bit of the time. It is now 9:36, so that's going to be all for this stream so far, and I'll hit you guys with another one when I return. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the flip. Later. A lot of messages. Caterham Academy, Red Entry UK, Focus Challenge.
kilometres.